Priya was my roommate junior year of college. We split textbooks, we split a mini fridge that made a noise like it was trying to leave this world, and on nights when finance homework felt personally disrespectful, we split a bottle of wine that definitely cost less than the textbook we were pretending to read. Priya wore the same 3 sweaters on rotation: gray, green, one burgundy sweater with a loose thread on the sleeve that I watched grow for almost 2 years. She packed lunch in scratched plastic containers, kept tea bags from hotel rooms like they were rationed. Out of everyone in our business program, she was probably the person people worried about least. Not because they thought she'd be successful. Honestly, I don't think they thought about her that much. I saw her again last month. Same easy laugh, same 2014 Corolla, check engine light on for 2 years. I asked about the light.
It's been very consistent,
She said, which is not how mechanics recommend interpreting a warning light, but okay. We were halfway through our second coffee when she mentioned, casually, that she was thinking about buying another property. I put my cup down. Another?
Maybe.
Priya,
What?
what do you mean, another? That's how I found out my supposedly broke college roommate owns 2 small duplexes, a share in a storage facility, and a parking lot she leases to a dental office and a nail salon. A parking lot. Do you know how humbling it is to spend 15 years trying to become financially sophisticated, only to discover your old roommate has quietly been collecting rent from rectangles of asphalt? It started senior year. A rundown student lot near campus, owner deceased, family wanted nothing to do with it. $18,000. Priya did not have $18,000. Important detail, because whenever we hear stories like this, there's usually a suspicious little sentence buried in the middle. I bought my first property at 22. Okay, with what? Positive thinking? Priya borrowed it from her uncle, a pharmacist with savings, at real interest, with a real payment schedule. She said he was stricter than any bank, because a bank doesn't corner you at a family birthday and ask why your payment was 3 days late while you're holding a plate of curry. First semester, after paying him back, she cleared $600. Not $6,000, not I retired my mom at 22, $600. She said she stared at that number for a long time, almost embarrassed to be proud of it. But the lot had made $600 while she sat in lecture, while she slept. It didn't care if she showed up, it just worked. That's the part that rewired her, not the size of the number, the fact that it didn't need her in the room. So she kept going, slowly, saved, bought into the storage facility with 2 other investors. Years later, the first duplex, then another. No empire, no private jet, no podcast called the Priya Method, just assets, quietly multiplying while she kept the same car and the same 3 sweaters like it was a bit. I asked how many people in her life actually knew. She stirred her coffee.
Almost nobody.
That's where the story earns its plot twist. 3 years ago, work reunion. Half our old cohort there, comparing job titles the way other people compare watches. Vice president, senior director, head of something important. You know those conversations where everyone's technically asking how you've been, but LinkedIn is standing between you holding a clipboard? A guy from our finance elective, the type who could turn a group project into a hostage negotiation, asked what she was up to.
Logistics, operations manager.
He nodded. Still driving the Corolla? Yes. She watched him run the math in real time. Logistics. Old car. Nothing here worth the follow-up question. His eyes drifted past her shoulder, hunting for somebody whose success was easier to spot from across the room. She told me that didn't sting the way I expected. It was a relief. The moment he underestimated her, he stopped asking questions. Nobody pitches you their Uber for houseplants app over dessert if they've already decided you're not worth the pitch. Priya had spent years being financially invisible, and it turns out invisibility comes with genuinely excellent security features. It also comes with the bill. Her older sister found out by accident 2 years ago. Priya left a bank statement on the counter during a visit. Her sister saw the number and went quiet. The specific quiet where nobody's mad but something's shifted. Priya didn't tell me the number. I didn't ask. See? Growth. But for the rest of that week, small things changed. A pause before splitting dinner. A joke about how she could obviously afford it. A must be nice delivered with a smile that wasn't fully a smile. Nothing dramatic, which is almost what made it worse. Same Priya, same sweater, same laugh. New file folder in her sister's head labeled Priya who has money. I sat with that for a second because I caught myself doing a tiny version of it right there over the second coffee, hesitating half a beat before suggesting the cheap taco place instead of somewhere nicer, in case it looked like I assumed she couldn't afford better. Turns out, you don't need greed to change a relationship. Information does it for free. Then her younger brother showed up, wanting $11,000 for a clothing brand. She could have sent it before he finished his coffee. This is where I expected the speech about hard work building character. Instead, she said,
I was scared.
not of losing $11,000, of what happens after it moves. Does he come back next time? Do dinners get a little awkward? Does she start quietly auditing what he buys? The money moves once. The relationship has to keep moving after, every year, forever. So she said neither yes nor no. She asked to see his real numbers, not the exciting ones, the actual ones. They met every Sunday for 2 months, which is either very generous or a mild form of psychological warfare, depending who you ask. They cut his budget almost in half, found a supplier that killed his upfront risk. He pre-sold enough to fund his first production run without borrowing a single dollar from her. Her $11,000 never moved. He still doesn't know it could have.
He calls me constantly to complain about Mom,
she said. I laughed. That's the dream?
Exactly.
That was the actual thing she protected, not the $11,000. The version of their relationship where she's just his sister, not his emergency fund, not the balance quietly pulling up a chair at every family dinner. I asked if it was worth it, all the hiding. She corrected me immediately.
It's not hiding. You don't announce your salary before appetizers either. Why do I owe anyone a full asset report because I happen to own a parking lot?
Fair, and also the parking lot was really winning this conversation. But then, quieter, she said the hard part was never the privacy. She's made peace with that. It's watching someone she loves wrestle with something she could dissolve in one transfer, and knowing that dissolving it might cost her the one thing money can't buy back, getting to just be Priya, instead of a number that occasionally shows up wearing her sweater. She still drives the Corolla. I told her to at least get the light checked. She said she did, 2 years ago. It's a $40 emission sensor. The car is completely fine. This woman has knowingly let an entire social circle believe her vehicle is dying because correcting the record felt like more effort than it was worth. Respect, honestly. Before we left, she said I was handling this better than her sister did. I said I was trying very hard not to mentally re-audit every coffee we've ever split. She laughed. Then she said trying was already more than most people manage. I've been thinking about that since, about how fast we reshuffle someone in our heads the second we learn what they have. We expect more. We get curious about things we'd never ask anyone else. Without meaning to, we stop seeing the person and start seeing the number wearing them like a coat. So here's what I keep circling back to. If you found out tomorrow that someone close to you had way more than you thought, would anything between you actually change? And the harder one, would you trust yourself to keep seeing them exactly the same? Because Priya isn't afraid people will find out she's successful. She's afraid they'll find out and stop seeing Priya.